What's going on, collective? Welcome back to the channel. Elevate Your Energy. It's Jazi, your favorite Cali reader and San Diego's favorite spiritual consult, because I fucking said so. But so today's reading and message is going to be a bit different because it's been a little minute, but changes that have been happening in my experience lately, spiritually, energetically speaking, is putting me on a different trajectory. I've already in June sometime having found myself on a new timeline, things in my life that are falling apart, that are changing, that are shifting in order to support this new timeline, in order to bring me closer to this new timeline and, where that's taking me. So that also is translating into my work and how I show up for the collective, right? And so today's message is going to be intuitive, meaning I'm not going to use cards today. It's just not what I'm being guided to do right now. And when I'm disobedient, I'm noticing that, when I don't listen, or when I ignore, or, send out the energy of not being ready, right? It doesn't support me. It doesn't help me at all. It just kind of makes things worse. It prolongs it. Okay, so I'm doing something different today. No cards, all straight intuition, right? Intuitive messages. So in that, I've already called in my guides, but, for the sake of the camera, at this time, I would like for my benevolent ancestors, spirit team, and guides, please come forth. Please cover this reading, cover myself, my energy, and those watching. Allow us to only receive the messages that are for our highest and greatest good only, and nothing less. Please shield our energies from energies that don't mean good, that don't mean well, please repel the trickster, illusory, deceptive energies and frequencies from this reading, from this space. Setting forth clear and positive intention that the messages that come through this reading will reach those that need them. Those that need them will find them. And they will know the messages that are for them. It'll be clear. Ashe. So, title of today's reading, of today's message, I should say, is Up for Review. That's what came through. As I was in meditation before I hit the record button, I wanted to get clear, trying to figure out get a better idea of where this message is taking us. So I did notice that we do have a full moon that is coming up on the 9th of August. And we are in a 9-year. So 9s may be significant for some of you. Some of you may be a Virgo like myself. It's the 9-month, right? The 9th year. So 9s may be significant for some of you at this time. 9s also represent completion, endings, right? The starting over, right? The 10 is actually the new beginning, in my opinion, as a reader, because the 1 represents the new start, the new beginning. The 0 is infinite. It's always going to be there, right? That's our energy that, is infinite, doesn't stop. 333 on the timer. So, so that, like I said, may be a significant. Some of you may be seeing 9s, you may be seeing 999. You may be drawn to 9s for some reason. Okay, pay attention to that. So this energy of up and real fast, the full moon is happening in the sign of Capricorn. And that's, if you follow Vedic astrology, I feel like it's just simply more accurate than Western. But it's in the sign of Capricorn going into Aquarius after that. So let's see what else. So up for review. So what was coming through, like I said, during meditation with this up for review, is I feel like some of you are going through major life cycles, I'm hearing, meaning major endings, things that are shaking your fucking world up. Excuse my French, but this is what I'm getting right now. There could be some major endings that are happening for you at this time, things that maybe you weren't expecting, things you didn't see coming. There may be people around you whose energies are maybe just suddenly switching up, suddenly vibrating differently, out of sync with you. I'm hearing out of sync. So some of you, your connections at this time are out of sync, or maybe it's being made clear to you that People maybe that were once close to you are now becoming distant. People that maybe were like rock solid to you in a sense, right? Meaning character wise, right? Are maybe you're seeing a different side that maybe you haven't seen before. This is not the time to turn a blind eye. I'm hearing this is not the time to act like you don't see what you see, act like you don't know what you know, and especially don't act like you don't feel what you feel, especially when it comes to other people around you. You know, when you walk into a room and the energy shifts, the energy changes, this is not the time to ignore when that happens, okay? It's not to say be scared. It's not to say be fearful or there's something to worry about. It's awareness. It's acknowledging, being present enough to know and identify that it has happened, that you felt the shift from one energy frequency to another, that one, that you had maybe an energy in your field that has shifted, or maybe another energy has joined, right? It's about awareness that has taken place, okay? What's also coming through, what came through earlier with the meditation, was that some of you, the up for review, it definitely feels like it's energetic, like it's spiritual. But for some of you, it also feels like it is also translating for some of you into the 3D, okay? These are general messages. Obviously, this is a newer thing that I'm bringing to the channel, so forgive me for not saying that earlier. My messages, as always, are general in nature. So they're not going to apply to all of you, nor are they meant to, okay? And my readings are not time specific unless otherwise specified. So I did mention the full moon that is coming up. However, this is a timeless reading regardless, so you will trust that you will find the messages when you need them. That is also the intention that I set before I started recording the video as well. So trust that, you know, when you set your intention, that the universe will guide you and align you to what you need when you need it. So up for review, I feel like some of you are, like I said, are going through this spiritually, where initiations that you have been experiencing, that's why they've been so heavy, because your soul at this time on a soul level is up for review. Now, like I said, others of you are experiencing this in the 3D, where maybe this is coming up in your job. This is coming up, maybe some of you are up for a promotion. Okay, if this is something that you have been aiming for, something you have been asking for, requesting, wanting, you know, setting intention for to get leveled up or upgraded, I'm hearing, into your, thank you, Spirit, into your, like your next level. Okay. This is how that might happen. Okay. This is the time where some of you, you're up for review for that promotion, meaning you're on kind of like on the table. It's like you're coming up. It's like your turn. It's almost your turn. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm seeing standing in a line and kind of like walking up one by one, right? And everybody leaving the desk, they're like picking up something and walking away. So some of you, this could be like some type of promotion. This could be regarding the military, things like that. But promotion is heavy on the table at this time, okay? And it makes sense because now that I think about it, the 8/8 portal happens literally right the day before. And the portal is already open, by the way. The 8/8 portal, the Lionsgate portal, is already open. That opens, I believe, mid-June. So, I mean, I'm sorry, mid-July. My apologies, mid-July. No, actually, it could be mid-June now that I think about it. But because it opens, you know, it opens way long before the actual 8th of the month. But it's just interesting how we have the Lionsgate portal, like the actual day, the 8/8 day, the day before the 9th of the month. So it's interesting, 8/8, and then the 9th on the 9th year, 8899, okay, 909 on the timer. So like I said, nines are definitely significant. There are major, it feels like major endings that are happening at this time. What I'm also getting is life quake. Some of you, that is what you're experiencing at this time, a life quake, where it feels like your life is being shaken up, which is also in the tarot kind of like a tower energy, but it feels a bit more intense than that. And this doesn't have to be a bad thing, meaning it doesn't have to be something negative unless you deem it to be such, right? But it just feels like for some of you, and I know I can attest to this personally, my goodness, that's why I've kind of been like MIA, because if I'm not right, I'm not bringing anything to the collective, you know what I'm saying, that isn't in alignment. If I don't feel like I'm clear and balanced internally, energetically, I'm not going to show up for the collective from that space. I'm just not going to do that because I have too much morals, moral value and integrity in the work that I do. I take it too seriously. We're beyond that, right? So, but yeah, some of you are experiencing your own version of a life quake, meaning where it's like major endings are happening, where it feels like things are falling apart. That's exactly what's happening for me. I'm still navigating it. And it's hitting intensely, I feel like, for me. And I feel like, obviously, for those of you that can relate, please share it in the comments. Someone else can use, seeing that they're not alone, that they're not going through this by themselves, right? It's hitting me so intensely because on an energetic level, it feels like a death. It feels like a physical death. And for me, it's because it's regarding my son. And it feels like a physical death, right? Even though it's not, and I'm doing my best to be mindful in saying that because I'm fully aware that there's so many moms who have lost their sons, like for real, right? In the physical. And that's something that I wouldn't wish upon anyone, nor it's something that I don't want to, nor is it something that I want to personally experience. However, this feels like that. Like I can equate the two. Like that's how it feels, on an energetic, emotional level. It feels that like that's what happened. So some of you may be also having that experience where, and this is new for me, right? My son's he's 18, he's turning 19. He's, ready to move out, leave the house, just because the environment, it doesn't serve him anymore. I don't blame him for that. I just wish that he was more prepared, that he had more experience, that he had more that he established more of his own foundation before deciding to, move the way he's moving right now, basically. And so it's difficult to, relinquish that control. So that's something else that's coming through, that for some of you, you're being asked to surrender at this time. Surrender does not mean giving up your goal or giving up the desire. It just means that you're no longer trying to control parts or aspects of that process that you're not meant to control. Okay. Some of you are really being asked to relinquish your stronghold on something, on a situation. Maybe something is trying to leave your life and some of you are holding on so tightly to it as if, that's going to stop it from falling apart when it doesn't, right? It's like the same as when we feel like our partners, like times, for those who have been in relationships, things like that, where you can feel your partner pulling, like, you guys are pulling apart. You guys are just, maybe outgrowing each other, and out of discomfort, right? When our ego is aware that, oh shit, this is changing, or this person is changing, you can feel, the disconnect energetically. You want to grab it, right? You want to try to hold it and keep it close. So for me, I've also been experiencing that, but it's been more so the battle of my higher self and my ego, me literally forcing my ego to let go. It's difficult because it's my kid, right? So allowing yourself to let go, right? Allowing yourself to detach with the trust and intention that it's for the highest, for all involved. That's how I'm, dealing with this, navigating this. And I'm not trying to be on here being emotional about it at all. It's just, it's still fresh. It's still hitting me really, intensely. I feel deeply anyway. I always have. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. So it's, it's just coming through in that way. I haven't really talked about it to anybody. I just don't have that support system in 3D right now. That's another thing. Like my other connections and dynamics are at this point of feeling kind of like fake. We're not as close-knit as we once were. I'm realizing that I'm doing work that other people just simply aren't. And maybe they're not meant to this lifetime, right? But I'm allowing myself to observe and identify the difference, the change in the dynamic, right? And no longer trying to my best to hold on to it and feel like I need to keep it. I'm kind of just, it feels so much better that I'm just like, I'm allowing it to play out how it will. I'm no longer trying trying to get people to see things from my perspective, or try to get them to see, like, I feel like I have, my perspective is helpful. It's kind of like I'm just letting people learn what they're going to learn, do it how they're going to do it, let their path be their own. And even when I'm guided to, feel like I'm trying to, like, help someone out, I'm just, if it's not asked of me, I'm not giving it, and that's difficult in itself, because that hasn't been, my MO. I haven't always moved like that. Right. But, that's just what I'm being guided to do at this time, and kind of like more so turn the energy more in towards myself. And so with this up for review energy that it feels like some of you are experiencing at this time, like I said, it feels like more on a soul level, right? And it makes sense because everything starts spiritually and energetically before it shows up physically. So, I feel like I said, some of you are going through major upgrades at this time, major initiations, maybe intense initiations, initiations that you haven't been through before. And it makes sense because the same as when you play a video game, the video game starts off pretty easy, right? And that's just to get you warmed up, get you kind of like acclimated to, how things work and the tools you have access to, all those things, right? What you're up against in a sense. But as you go right through the video game, as you play the game, it gets a little more difficult. It gets a little bit more harder. The boss battles are a little bit harder to fight. But you also have tools, right, that become, or weapons in those senses. But I'll say tools in this sense that become more available to you as you continue to progress forward, as you continue to go. So that's why I'm saying some of you are up for review right now on a spiritual level, meaning that maybe you've only have access to certain gifts, but as you continue to go through this, not only the initiations that are coming up for you at this time, but you're going through the initiations because your soul is up for review. Okay. So I just encourage you, if there's things that are falling apart in your life, especially before we get to this actual 8/8 portal day, let them go. Let them fall to the wayside. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that you're going to feel better immediately afterwards, but I am saying that you're up for review for a reason. Okay. This is kind of like that it feels like it's like Spirit's way of trying to see, are you ready for the next level? That's why you're up for review at this time. For those that can resonate with that feels like your soul is up for review because you've been getting hit with the life quakes. You've been getting hit with, major endings, maybe really intense emotions, things like that. Experiences that are difficult, challenges that are just hitting you like in a way that you haven't had, that you haven't experienced before. This is why, because your soul is up for review at this time, meaning Spirit is trying to see, are you ready for the next level? Are you ready for what you've been asking for that awaits you in this 8/8 portal? I just happened to notice this card, sitting here on the top of this deck. Okay. The strength card. This is the 8, the strength, the Leo energy, which is what the 8/8, what we associate with the 8/8 portal, strength energy. Okay. So that's what it feels like. Like I said, so for some of you, that's also what is playing out at this time is your strength. Maybe I'm hearing someone maybe trying to play on your strength. Be aware of that. Be mindful of that. Be cognizant of people around you that may be trying to play on your strengths, meaning, they know how strong you are. So they may purposely try to come up against you or put you in situations that force you to have to use your strength, force you to be strong when you maybe don't need to be, or maybe when you shouldn't have to put that much effort towards something. Okay. Be cognizant of the people of the company you keep. Okay. Also how you treat people. All right. I feel like that's very important at this time. Like I said, your spirit is up for review. Okay. So that also plays into that, how you treat people, the karma, meaning the cause and effect. The energy you put out is what comes back. So I feel like it's really important to be mindful and cognizant of the energy that you're putting out, because that is what you're going to be receiving in return. And I'm recording this on a Jupiter day. Okay. Jupiter day, the planet Jupiter in general, has to do with increase. Okay. Not only abundance and good luck and prosperity and all those things, but Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Okay. Meaning that it doesn't always feel good to expand. It doesn't always feel good to be positioned to be increased. Okay. It's cool once you get beyond that part and you're at the end of the increase, right? Where you're receiving and you're ready for it and you're able to hold it, right? But that process to get to that point is what we're talking about here. That part isn't easy. Crossing that bridge that up for review to see, have you been doing the work? Have you been pouring into yourself? Have you been heeding your guidance? Have you been answering the motherfucking call? This is what the period of review is for some of you, okay? And I'm not, and I feel like I really can't say that, you know, if it's too late for some of you, if you're just like, oh shit, I've been putting it off, I've been, you know, really just kind of like putting it on the back burner, pushing it aside, avoiding it, procrastinating, and now you're just like, holy fuck, and you're trying to hurry up and get on the ball and, you know, make shit happen last minute. I can't say or gauge how that's going to play out for you, okay? But what I am saying is that for those of you that have been going through major upheavals, major challenges, especially over the last few months, major changes over at least even into this last, you know, over the past month. Okay. However, this has been hitting you. It's because your soul is under review at this time. You're up for review. That's why this has been happening. It's like your ancestors, it feels like, are watching. Your spirit team, your guides, your archangels, those that you believe in, those that you reach out to, those that you call upon. Okay. The energies, the spirits that you call upon. You're up for review. So it's like, I'm getting like they're all like, you know, at a desk, you know, kind of like this, and you're at the head. Okay. You're up for review at this time. So this is not the time to keep slacking on yourself. It's not the time to keep sleeping on yourself. Okay. If there's a project, and I promise you, I'm taking my own advice as this is coming out. I'm, you know, allowing myself to receive the messages of this that are meant for me as well. But this is not the time to continue to slack on yourself, to slack on projects, to slack on tasks that you're being guided to give, that you're being guided to do, okay? Ways that you're being guided to show up, not only for yourself, especially for yourself, but also for others, for the collective, however that plays out, right? However that translates for you. This is not the time to keep pushing those things aside, to keep pushing the plan aside, okay? If there's a plan that you know that you've a goal or something that you know is very important and very pivotal for your life, this is no longer the time to push that aside. This is the review period is the preparation. Okay. It's like, have you been doing what you have been asked to do or what you've been guided to do to prepare you to walk through this portal, to prepare you to step into this new timeline? Because it's not only about receiving what it is you're asking for, but it's the ability to sustain it, to maintain it, to be able to hold that frequency, right? To be able to embody that version that can hold those things for as long as you're supposed to hold it, right? Nothing lasts forever. Everything in this 3D realm is temporary. So everything is bound to shift or change in some type of way, right? But it just feels like still an energy of, are you ready for what you're asking for? Okay. You're up for review at this time. Have you been doing the work? Have you been doing what you've been guided to do? Even if it's behind the scenes, even if you're not getting, you know, accolades or, you know, rewarded outside, even if nobody's clapping for you on the outside, have you been still pushing through behind closed doors? Okay. This is the period of review that some of you are up against at this time. So, if you haven't been doing the work, this is your sign. Okay. I don't know, like I said, what that looks like for those who have been, you know, putting it off for so long. I wouldn't suggest or recommend to claim that it's too late for yourself. I wouldn't claim that even for myself, that it's too late. I just don't, I wouldn't recommend limiting yourself in that way by assuming that, oh, well, because the 8/8 portal is so close, I don't have enough time to, you know, do whatever. I've had to wait a couple 8/8 portals, okay, before I got to the point where I felt like I'm finally ready. I'm fucking tired of all the other experiences that I've had and repeating cycles so many times to where I'm no longer willing to let myself keep not being ready to really step through this 8/8 portal and be able to sustain and receive and sustain all that comes with that, all that's on the other side of walking through that portal. I'm tired of my soul feeling so hurt, so let down, so disappointed, right? Because I, you know, didn't put myself in the right positions, or I didn't choose to discipline myself enough, or, you know, do the hard thing, do the uncomfortable thing, have the tough conversation, let that connection go, not go backwards into, you know, connections or experiences that I know don't serve me, like things like that. Like I just got to a point where I got tired of my soul feeling so disappointed in myself, in me letting my ego drive the car more than my higher aspects driving it. You see what I'm saying? Meaning my vessel, making the, being the decision maker in my experience. And so for those of you that can, resonate with that, this is that period. You're up for review. Have you been doing the work? And this is also a period of being honest with yourself. Have I really been doing all I can do for myself? If you haven't, this is the time to show up. Even if you don't feel like you're going to make it to the other, through to certain experiences that you want to have by this 8/8 portal, it doesn't matter. You still, that's how you get to that point, is by seeing that, damn, that could have been me. But it's obviously not time yet. There's maybe things that I still have to learn to be ready for that. But you're never going to get there if you stop. You're never going to get there if you quit now, or if you let, the fact that maybe you might miss this one deter you from getting to the next one. Okay. This isn't the time to quit. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to keep, like I said, sleeping on yourself and acting like you don't know what you know. Stop acting like you're not as gifted as you are, or as talented as you are, or you're not being called for something bigger, higher, and greater. This is not the time to continue to ignore what you know to be true. Okay. Your soul is up for review. Your work, the things you've been working on, the energy you've been putting out, this is up for review. And I can't even, honestly say for myself, because I just know what I've been going through. And I'm just like, holy fuck, it's been a battle, with my discipline and falling back into patterns and certain things and having to pull myself back out every fucking time. It's been a real back and forth thing for me for this whole, up until this point, this whole year. Right. And not, forgetting that the real new year wasn't until, the springtime anyway, the spring equinox. So it's like, there's just a lot. So I would say be patient with yourself. Okay. Give yourself grace. That is also part of the review process, is how do you deal with yourself? How do you talk to yourself? How do you treat yourself even when you feel disappointed, even when you feel let down? Like, even if you feel like you didn't meet the goal, you didn't meet the mark, right? This isn't the time to beat yourself up. This is the time for acknowledging, okay? Letting it be seen, letting it be heard, letting it be felt that I could have did more, but I didn't. And in feeling that, allowing yourself to feel whatever comes up by acknowledging that is going to be exactly what's going to propel you forward to ensure that you never let yourself feel like that again. If you let yourself feel that pain in such a way that is so real, and you don't try to fight it, you don't try to numb it, you don't try to make it, go faster, like leave faster, that is sometimes a part of the process that's necessary, allowing yourself to feel that so deeply to where you will ensure that once you let those emotions pass and you come up on the other side of that, you will never have that feeling again, because you know how disappointed you felt. You know how deeply hurt you felt by your own, actions or lack thereof, right? So this isn't the time to be down on yourself, be hard on yourself, but this is the time to review, to reflect, to go within, ask the tough questions. Look at the things that we've been hiding from ourselves. Look at the things that we don't want to look at, that were hard to look at, right? This isn't a time to victimize yourself, but just simply be aware, acknowledging, saying, I see you. That's something else I've been doing that I want to share with you at this moment. Thank you, Spirit. So something I did yesterday, right? I went to the water, and I get it. Not everybody has access. You can do this in the tub. You don't even need water necessarily, but salt water is a very good energetic purifier and cleanser, especially when it's natural, ocean water, right? So I went to the marina yesterday, near my house, and I sat on, pulled my towel out the trunk and, went down, on the rocks down to by where the water was, and pulled off my socks and, pulled up my leggings some, set my, towel and stuff down on the side with my keys. I put my keys inside of my bra because I don't want to, risk potentially dropping them in the water. And I sat there, put my feet in the water, and I just, the things that came up for everyone. So for example, fear. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. I acknowledge you. And I set you free with love. This is an easy yet powerful practice that you can do on your own. For any of those things that come up, I highly recommend just at least trying it, giving yourself the opportunity to feel even just a little bit lighter. As you continue to make those small adjustments, those small steps forward, it's like, don't downplay the progress that could be made of something that seems so small. Okay. Like they say that, all you need is, like, when it comes to faith, all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed, meaning it doesn't take a lot. You don't need a lot to do great things. You don't need a lot of effort to do something that's actually highly beneficial. Okay. So, and I did that. I allowed myself to say that out loud, right? Because your words hold power. Every letter, let alone word, let alone sentence, okay, holds great, great, great power and vibration. Okay. So allowing yourself to speak that verbally, acknowledging, that's a lot of what those emotions, why they're still there, is because we haven't did the simple thing, which is simply looking at it, just saying, I see you. Okay, you're here. I see you. That was it. You just wanted me to acknowledge your presence. Sometimes, yes, it is really that simple. And I'm speaking from experience, not realizing, like, holy fuck, that's all that needed. Is literally the same as like a little kid coming up to you, just trying to show you their owie, and they're pulling on you. And you're just like, oh my gosh, what is it? Right? They won't leave you alone. And they just wanted you to see your owie, see their little owie. And you're like, oh my goodness. Okay. And then they're off to play again. Sometimes it's really all it is, right? Sometimes that is how we heal, are from those times when you were a child, right? And you maybe came up to your mom or dad or your caregiver or whatever, and you wanted their attention in that moment, and they ignored it because in their mind it was something so small. Oh, they're a child, they're going to forget that. They won't remember that I ignored them or put them off, like it wasn't unimportant, not realizing the body keeps score. The body remembers everything, right? So in that moment, as a child, maybe they don't have the words to tell you how they feel or how that will affect them later, but we can see it, we can identify it, right? When other people do that to us, you realize, like, oh shit, that affected me more than I thought, right? So now that you're an adult and you have the ability to make these changes and shifts, you have the ability to show up better in a way that maybe you didn't have before. This is an easy way to do that, okay? Because all these things that you feel, they're not you, okay? Emotions are not the core essence of who we are. They're just an energetic, something that's showing up energetically, right? For us to be acknowledged as part of the human experience. But we don't need to hold it. We don't need to stronghold it and keep it as if it's ours. That's where we mess up, is holding on to things that aren't meant to be held on to. Emotions are not meant to be held on to. Emotions are energy in motion. They're not meant to be held on to. They're meant to be felt and released, right? So this is easy practice to help you feel and release. Okay. You don't need a therapist for this. You don't need to pay for this. This is totally, completely free. It's just up to you to try it. Okay. So going through it one more time. So let's say, worry. Okay. Worry. I see you. I feel you. I acknowledge you. I hear you. And I release you. I free you with love. I free you with love. And I send you back to the core of the planet for transmutation, for my highest and greatest good. When you speak like that, that is speaking from a place of conviction, a place of confidence, and a place of decisive healing, choosing your healing, choosing, I want to feel better. That is how you send out the vibration of, I want to do better. I'm doing my best to do better. And the universe has no choice but to match that energy. Okay. So for those of you that are having those experiences and emotions that are coming up, this is an easy way to help yourself release it. Like I say, you don't need water. You don't need to have your feet in water. That's just my choice. That's therapy for me. But if it is available to you, please use it. Because everywhere you go, you're picking up energy every step you take. No matter where you are, every step you take, your foot, where your footprints go, okay? It's energy that you're picking up along the way, okay? So that helps clear any type of negative frequencies or energies you've picked up along your path. That's why I recommend putting your feet in the salt water, but it's not required, right? Do what you can, do what what you can based on what you have access to. But if you do have access to fresh, salt water, please use it, okay? I also feel like what the message is also coming through for some of you is you need to give yourself more credit. Some of you don't give yourself enough credit for how far you've come, for what you've overcome. And I feel like if you took the time, made the time, to literally list at least a good portion of things that you can remember, like you can think of off the top of your head that you've overcome, okay? And just read through all of those, or just look at the list in hindsight, right? From a bird's eye view, and just see the length of it. Give yourself credit for that, okay? Some of you, it's literally that simple, or it can be at least, to start that shift is by making a list of all those things that you've experienced, that damn, all these challenges that I've overcome. It's letting you know how powerful you are. It's letting you know, reminding you how strong you are. Okay? Some of you simply don't give yourself enough credit because you haven't let yourself document, you haven't tracked your progress at all. Some of you, it would be helpful to be able to see it visually. Some of you, because we all learn differently, right? So for those of you that are more visual learners, that's why this list may be actually helpful for you, is to be able to see it on paper. For some of you, just saying it, it doesn't hit the same. But when you can look at it visually and have that visual be reflected back to you to process it, okay, that's where the support for some of you really lies. So it's not always about just, writing something down. You know, sometimes, yes, it's helpful to get things out of your head and onto paper. But for some of you, it's to honor your ability, and the way you learn is visually. So by seeing it on paper can actually help you make the shift that you've been trying to make. Okay. So I am being guided to pull a couple of charms for you guys, okay, that may be of significance to you at this time, as well as some dice. Okay. So let's see. Spirit team and guides for the collective. What are some signs that may be of significance to the collective at this time? Okay, at the top is Scorpio. That's not a fucking mistake. Scorpio represents the sign of death and transformation, like we just said, okay? We were just talking about that. I'm also seeing Libra on the side, okay? So it has to do with justice, fairness, cycles, closing, karmic cycles at that. Some of you are closing major karmic cycles at this time. This is, like I said, not the time to run from them, okay? I'm also seeing Sagittarius on the side. So Sagittarius energy is passionate, okay? It's that go-getter, it's fiery, it's, adventurous, all that, okay? So some of you, things are ending at this time in order to help you step more into your own unique path, your own unique, restore. I'm hearing restore, reestablish for some of you, your passions. Some of you have maybe given over your passions, or maybe put them on the back burner for your connections or for certain experiences, but now is the time to pick them back up. The karmic cycles have closed, or they are closing now, and now it's time to step back into your passions, your own unique passions, with Aquarius on the side, okay? Some of you, this is about stepping into your own unique path, meaning embracing the uniqueness that you are, that you exude without judgment on yourself, okay? Unapologetically embracing the uniqueness that you are. Some of you have been guided to do this already, and that is a part of what's up for review at this time. Have you been really stepping into your passions? Have you been really allowing the things that are trying to end and leave your life? Have you been allowing them to end? Are you doing things from a fair, ethical, and morally balanced place, right? If you haven't, scales of justice, okay, of ma'at, is here. And this is also applies to your enemies, or seemingly so enemies, okay? People that don't want to see you do well, people that want to keep you stuck, tied, bound, all those things. Scales of justice and karma are being balanced out at this time. So if things are leaving your life, just understand, do your best to overstand, okay? That if they're ending, things that are leaving your life, people that are leaving your life, it's because that karmic cycle has ended. You've completed that. You've learned whatever you were supposed to learn from that situation. And now you're being, you're being made available to step into a different karmic cycle, okay? A new set of lessons, maybe through other people, through other experiences. Okay. So for some of you, that is what this review has to do with. All right. For those of you that are still around, sticking around for this reading up until this point, I am so grateful for you. If it does resonate at all, please feel free to drop a comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever you're feeling called or guided to. So appreciate that. Okay. So some planets that may be of significance to you at this time. I'm hearing Pluto automatically, but oh, ain't that something? Jupiter. Jupiter is at the top, okay? I'm recording this, like I said, on a Jupiter day. I'm also seeing the sun. We also have the North Node and Pluto, okay? So like I said, some of you are definitely going through major endings. I would check to see what placements you have in those planets. Your Jupiter sign may be of significance for you at this time, as well as your sun sign, your North Node, and your Pluto, okay? For me, when I learned where my Pluto was and what house, it makes so much sense of why I feel like I'm constantly going through transformations. Like I'm constantly going through death and rebirth cycles. Why? Because my Pluto is in my 12th house. Okay. So some of you, your 12th house may be of significance at this time, because we already saw Scorpio energy earlier. Okay. Scorpio and Pluto, those go hand in hand with each other with the death and rebirth cycles. Okay. So like I said, some of you may be going through major endings at this time, but it's expanding you. It's growing you. It's helping you step more into who you're supposed to be in this lifetime. For some of you with the sun sign here in the Jupiter, it's helping you really get yourself out there, put yourself out there, get in the spotlight the way you're meant to be in this lifetime. For some of you, that's part of your North Node energy is, and I know it is for sure with mine, with where my placements are and all that good stuff, where my, my Venus, my Mars, are both in the same house as my career. Okay. So it's like, as well as my son, they're all in that same house. So it's like, there's certain things that I know I'm supposed to be in the spotlight with. Okay. So some of you, this is exactly the, period of review up for review that's coming up right now. Have you been honoring putting yourself out there like you've been guided to? Have you been honoring the cycles in your life that are trying to close, that are trying to make room to put you where you need to be, or where you've been asking to be put? Okay. So this isn't the time to ignore these things. Okay. Pay attention to them. So let's see. Let's see what we got here. All right. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. This is really positive energy here, by the way. So Libra came out. Okay. I close my eyes as I do these. I get it. You can't see that, but I have no reason to lie to you. Honestly, my integrity matters more. So we have Libra that came out. We also have Cancer. So these signs may be of significance, or, significant to you at this time. Maybe these signs, if you have these signs in any of those planets that we just talked about, okay, check them out, because that may be where you're finding in your life is up for review at this time. Okay. Take them as they apply, but setting your intention will be helpful to receive the messages and be able to pick through what parts of the messages are actually for you. Okay. Gemini. So these signs may be of significance. So we also have the wheel. Okay. Wheel of Fortune. So some of you, like I said, this also has to do with cycles, but also being ready. That's Jupiter energy, expansion, good luck, good fortune, but the wheel turning in your favor, meaning you've learned what you were supposed to learn by way of closing out the cycles with the Libra energy here, right? It's putting you in a position to be able to jump on when things turn in your favor and things start getting better. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the growth? Are you ready for the expansion that Jupiter is trying to bring to you at this time? Okay. Some of you with this crown here, this is about readjusting your crown. Some of you, this is about stepping back into your power. Okay. As that goddess that you are. Okay. This is about really reclaiming your power, adjusting your crown and not letting anybody throw it off. Interesting. So the number 7 could be significant for some of you. My life path is a number 7. So I didn't count them when I pulled them. So I don't know. I didn't know how much I was grabbing, but, it's an intuitive thing. But do you see how when you set your intention, things show up the way they need to? Okay. And then you'll know what's for you. Okay. We also have a, shark's tooth. Okay. So it's giving me energy of being mindful. Okay. Of who you have around you at this time. Make sure that you don't have people around you that want you to think that they have your best interest in mind, but they don't. People that are just waiting, okay, waiting to bite you, waiting to take what you have, okay? And be mindful, if your goals aren't complete, don't share them, okay? If a goal hasn't been accomplished yet, don't share it, especially with people that don't believe in the same things, or aren't ambitious, or don't have their own shit going for themselves. Those are not the people you want to share these things with, okay? And then we have the dolphin, okay? And if any of these signs, like the wheel, crown, shark's tooth, dolphin, if any of those signs or symbols mean anything to you, or if they're standing out to you, feel free to tap into your own intuition first. I would recommend or suggest to see what that is telling you. And then if you feel guided, look it up online to get further details as to like maybe what a dolphin would mean to you, why a dolphin may be significant to you. Okay. Dolphins can typically represent, playfulness. Okay. Obviously good luck and positive experiences, but playfulness. Okay. Allowing yourself to play more with life, play more with, having fun more, maybe on your way to your goals, on the way to what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. Not doing your best, at least to not take life and especially challenges so seriously. And that's, like I said, advice for me as well. Being a Virgo, I can be very analytical and I like to understand things. I like to, pick it apart to see where I went wrong. Cause I'm, been practicing accountability for a few years now. Right. And making that a more intricate part of my practice and who I am is just naturally being accountable. And I've been doing that, but that's also that's part of my process. And how I take accountability is by allowing myself to acknowledge, these things through my challenges and figure out where did I go wrong, or where could I have shown up better, or what could I have done a bit differently. Right. And allowing myself to just acknowledge that without taking it so serious, without being so hard on myself about it. Right. So some of you at this time are really being asked to play more. Okay. Allow yourself to not take shit so seriously, especially when you feel challenged. Just know that this is a part of the process. It's a part of my growth. Just like when you're training for a new job, it's not going to always be easy. You're going to be challenged, but guess that's part of the training. That's part of getting you ready for the position you just took on. Or for some of you, like I said, this is up for review for a promotion. That's also what this is about. Some of you are being promoted to a manager, maybe a CEO. Okay. Some of you, you're being guided to promote yourself, maybe in your own brand. Okay. Some of you have been maybe playing as the employee and you're really being asked to take a step up and act more as the boss, act more as the CEO, maybe of your own life, let alone your business or, how you make your money. Okay. However that applies. Okay. Don't ignore it though. This is no longer, we're, out of that energy of ignoring these things. It's either you're going to sleep on yourself and you're going to miss out in a major way and you're going to be mad. You're going to be so disappointed. And not every door that opens and then closes may necessarily be reopened again. We don't know. Right. So if you're guided and feel like this may be an opportunity that I may never get again, that's telling you something. Pay attention to that. If that's what you feel guided with, or the message that comes through about a particular situation or particular opportunity or door that opens itself for you, if you feel like when that wheel is turning in your favor and that door opens, if you have a feeling or inkling that it won't open again, you're probably correct. Okay. So it doesn't mean be scared. It means act on it. Step up. Okay. Adjust your crown as needed and step into your, that empress energy, right? And do what needs to be done. Okay. Whew. Okay, so let's wrap. I do want to pull one card from this deck just because I feel like it's just in perfect alignment with the message today. Okay, this one just flipped out, so I'll leave it, but I want to actually, get another card. So let's see. Okay, all right. I had to clear some space, so I'm just gonna pull one last card. This is from Self-Esteem deck. Okay. For the collective. Clear, accurate message. What do you need to hear the most right now, please? I love these cards because they can be triggering sometimes, but I feel like in the best way. Okay. So it's like if if you're honest with yourself, then it's only meant to help you. All right. So the first one that came out is card 41. And it's interesting. The card that came out after that is 40. Okay, 40, 40, 41, 40, 30 is at the bottom. So some of you that you may be feeling like things are taking you backwards or you're taking a step back, but remember, it doesn't have to be that you're progressing backwards. Some of you, you're being pulled back to be launched forward. Okay, keep that in mind. So first one says, through your actions, you are seeking validation. Consider why you feel the need to gain approval. Okay, that was the one that just kind of came out while I started shuffling. All right, but I felt like it was somebody needed to hear it. Okay, so this feels like an energy of allowing yourself to ask yourself, if it feels, especially when it feels like you're trying so hard to do something that shouldn't be necessarily difficult, it's that in itself can be an opportunity to ask you, why am I doing this? To get clear. Am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing this because I'm genuinely passionate about it? It's genuinely something I want to do? Generally something I'm being guided to do, or is it my ego's way of trying to make me feel like, you know, I'm where I need to be? Is it the ego that's really driving this decision here? Okay. That is what this one is asking you to be cognizant of. Okay. Second one says, card 40, some people will violate your emotional boundaries with the intent to get a reaction or exert control. Avoid engaging in reaction seeking behavior. And that is exactly why it's important to not do things for validation, right? Because when you do things for validation and other people can pick up on that, right? That can easily make them go against you to get you to throw you off. So that's why it's, again, good, really important to be clear about why you're doing the things you're doing and why you're doing the things you're doing. Because if you're clear about your why, when this happens, people trying to throw you off by attacking into your emotions, and what that, it explains what we were getting at earlier with this, with the strength card, people pulling on your strength, playing on your strength. That's what this sounds like. So that's, thank you, Spirit. It's like coming full circle. Okay. Some of you, this period is also maybe a full circle moment where you're allowing yourself to identify that, oh, people keep trying to throw me off. Maybe because that's the universe's way of trying to show you, or trying to get you to see that, you know, you're really maybe doing something. You're maybe getting, you know, catching so much flack for something because you're really doing it from a place that's just seeking attention. And that's what you're getting. You're just getting attention that you don't want, though. You're getting the wrong type of attention. So it's important to make sure that whatever we're doing, the decisions we're making them from a balanced and actual aligned place, and not from an egoic place that's seeking, you know, validation. Okay. That's seeking a certain result or a certain outcome, and then get upset when it doesn't happen like that. Okay. Or get upset when we have people that are, you know, purposely, intentionally coming for you, right? Because that's sometimes, like I said, the universe will use other people to get you to see something, to show you something more clearly, to help you get more clear about why you're doing what you're doing. So then too, you're not wasting effort, you're not wasting time, energy, or resources, right? Because you're doing it from an actual balanced and aligned place. Okay. So, card at the bottom, feeling disconnected, is a transient space for self-analysis, choice, and conscious introduction of change. That's card 30. Feeling disconnected is a transient space for self-analysis, choice, and a conscious introduction of change. That's beautiful. And so again, your the card underneath that, your circumstances are mirroring your self-perception. So like I said, for some of you, if you feel like people are coming against you, it's probably because part of you is coming against yourself, and they're only amplifying that to show you how sometimes we're self-sabotaging without realizing it. Sometimes that's why it's important to be able to identify and not get automatically triggered when people challenge you in certain ways, because it's always it can show you something if you allow it. Okay. It can be a benefit if you allow it, but that's, you know, it's a personal decision. Okay. So collective, that's what I have for you. I trust that this message will find those that need it. If you did enjoy it, like I said, please feel free to drop a comment below. Other people may, you know, resonate. It may help somebody else along their journey. You never know. So if you're so called, you know what to do. So I love y'all so much. And until next time.